Hello guys, what is happening? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you are doing well. I decided to spice up this video a little bit compared to my other ones by showing photos and doing a voiceover. I hope you guys like this. Tell me in the comments below if you do or not. But I would also be doing just videos of myself in front of the camera, more of which coming soon. I wanted to make a video about a VR headset I got called the Aura Visor VR. Aura Visor VR. Something along those lines. Every time I say it, my pronunciation gets worse. But it's basically a standalone VR headset. You probably haven't heard of it. It's been out for a few years now, so I'm a retard for getting it. A lot of the reviews are negative, and rightfully so, but I did see the positive reviews before I got it. I should have done more research. There are some good parts which I'm going to go over, but there's a lot of cons which really I can't justify keeping it. Therefore I will be selling the headset soon. I've already put it up for sale, but I wanted to make a video discussing with you guys about it. If you're new to the channel and watching this, honestly, just don't get it. Like, it's not worth the price. If it was 40 quid, I'd say okay, but honestly, it's just not. If you're watching this and you're someone who was involved, I'm sorry. There are some good parts, and I will go over that in a minute. This is just the introduction to the video, but really, it's just not worth the price for what you're getting. It's just that you don't need a phone. This is standalone. That's what caught my attention, but the technology, at least in this system for this company, just isn't ready. I believe the Oculus Go has built-in speakers. This headset does not, which I'll go over in a second, and that really does suck. Looking it up here, it does say that the Oculus Go does have a built-in speaker. That is only, I'd say, about £50 more, something like that, compared to this if you buy it at full retail price. And honestly, I don't think there's any excuse as to why this doesn't have a built-in speaker. I was watching some of the promo videos and it made it look like this headset was amazing. There are some good parts, but mainly it's negative. I want to go over the good parts first. First off, once focused, the screen actually is a decent resolution. It says it's 1080p, which is believable. You'd need a good resolution for VR. I may try out the Nintendo Switch Labo with the Switch only having a 720p headset. I'm not sure, or 720p screen. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but the resolution is decent, and that is a good factor. It is hard to focus, but once it's focused, the screen does have a decent resolution, which has potential, but it is lost. It can connect to some HDMI devices. It has a mini HDMI cable, which is good, and that's one of the reasons why I bought it, because that was one of the pros. And it can connect to some devices such as the Apple TV. I've got the Series 4, the 1080p one. It can connect to it, or a laptop. But it isn't, whenever you put it on, the headset isn't full display. It's like it's like watching TV within a TV, if that makes sense. And that's kind of like the downfall of it. But you can connect to some devices. And I'm going to go over a negative to that in a second. But you can connect to some devices, which is good. But again, it's not really that, like, gripping. It really is wasted potential. You can install and use apps from Android. This headset is based on Android, so you can use applications from Android. which is good because it gives you variety, but, and I know I'm going into some of the cons here, it's good that it gives you variety, but a lot of them aren't really made for VR. For example, you could download Crossy Road, which was advertised on the home screen, but it wasn't made for VR, and it just felt really weird, and it wasn't really that good to play. I wouldn't really recommend it. Just, you can look up VR games on Android on the headset, and I'm sure you can play a few, but a lot of the apps weren't made for VR. Another positive would be that the controller feels comfortable and responsive. The controller is good. It's not like Xbox One or PS4 level good. If you've ever held budget controllers, if that makes sense, like the Nintendo Switch wired controller, it's good. This one's good. This one feels comfortable and responsive, and it's a good controller. The thumbsticks feel okay. It's really a decent controller, and it's responsive. There's no lag, at least not on the controller. It also doesn't require a smartphone, which that could be seen as a positive because it was at the start. But again, I'm going to go into the cons in a second. There's a lot of wasted potential here, but it doesn't require a smart. Technically doesn't. That's true. You advertised it as untethered, and it's technically true. But again, wasted potential is probably going to be in the title because god damn it, that's what it is. But it also has a cool LED on like the back, the front of the display, but whenever you've got the headset on, that's technically the front. But if you turn it over, I'll probably show it here, there is a cool LED. So it looks good and it sounds good on paper, but it's just the execution. The cons. I tried to be as positive as possible with the pros. I know I went into some cons with the pros, but really it's just not that good. The headset is far too heavy to be comfortable. I know it's got a lot, but I'm sure the Oculus Go would at least be lighter. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it would be. It looks lighter. It just has to be, because this is far too bulky. It's sore. It's probably going to give you a headache, because it nearly gave me one. I already had one before. It wasn't too bad, but this made it worse. This didn't help. Honestly, it's too thick and heavy. It is holding a lot, I get that. But if it actually worked, I wouldn't mind. But because it doesn't, it's just far too heavy. The software occasionally lags. I tried to press the back button. I tried to do everything. The only way I can get it to unlag is if I restart it. And it just got an update. The update is probably from a few years ago. I don't think it's getting any more updates, which is a negative. That's also a negative. But speaking of the software lagging, it just freezes. And the only way, it lags and freezes, but it mainly freezes. You're just going to have to turn it off and on. That's the only way. Another one, this would be a big one, is that the keyboard is awful. Trying to type it, like, whenever you go onto a letter, it goes onto another letter. Because it's a VR headset, it, like, skips letters and stuff like that because of the movement. But it's awful. Other VR headsets do this better. This is just not good. The keyboard's awful. There's no excuse for it. The keyboard is shit. It takes forever to type. Like an email address, for example, it took at least 10-20 minutes. It's awful. But whenever you do sign into Google, you, at least in my experience, don't have to sign in again. So that's good, but the keyboard, there's no excuse for it. And it takes hours to charge, which is understandable because it has a big battery. But the battery life is mediocre. Like, the battery life itself is mediocre. It only lasts a couple of hours. And I was only trying to test out the software. Not playing anything intensive or doing anything intensive. But honestly, there should have been a bigger battery. It's very bulky and heavy. You'd expect a big battery in it, but there isn't. Also, not all apps, I mentioned this briefly before, not all apps are made for VR, leaving a lot to be desired. a game with a Crossy Road with Subway Surfers, you can play it, but it's not made for VR, so it just looks like a screen. It looks like a TV within a TV, and that's what this headset is about, a TV within a TV. It has no exclusive content, no exclusive VR content. It's got a micro SD card, which is good. But what, you can already watch videos, you can buy a cheap VR headset, put your phone in it, watch videos. There's nothing here that this offers that other headsets don't. There's no reasons to get it. It lags, it's frustrating to use. There's no speakers built in. And the last one, this isn't a massive one, but it's another one on the list. It doesn't work on systems such as the PS4. Sony probably blocked it because they've got their own headsets. But that's just another reason that it offers no potential. It's wasted potential. I've said that a million times. But honestly, they could have kept on with it, updating it, making the keyboard better, making more content, but they've abandoned it. And yes, this is too late. Yes, people have already said about it. Yes, I'm too late. But they shouldn't have abandoned it. It's like the Wii U. Nintendo at least stuck with it. They updated it. Yes, they moved on to the Switch, but they stuck with the Wii for a good number of years, and that's what you should do. Stick with the system, even if it's not good. At least update it. At least do something with it. They didn't, and it's not that they're still really advertising it, but it's still seen on eBay. They haven't really said don't buy it. Honestly, just the Oculus Go is good, but it doesn't have games like Minecraft. It has a lot of games that are available on the Rift and the Vive, but not the Go. I'm going to wrap up this video, guys, by saying that please avoid this headset at all costs. You probably never heard of it. You probably aren't gonna. But please just avoid it. Please do your research before you buy something. Just look into it. And honestly, I'm just gonna have to rate it 4 out of 10. Yeah. Decent display. It has some potential, but it's wasted. It looks good on paper, but that doesn't equate to reality, and reality is the important thing. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.